Now to the latest in the Ukraine war. A lot is happening there. President Zelensky is under fire for corruption. A new report says he embezzled the aid money. A gruesome video has gone viral. It shows the beheading of a Ukrainian. And does the battle for Bakhmut have a winner? Russia says yes, Ukraine says no. We'll cover all of this, starting with the report on Zelensky. It was released by an American investigative journalist, Seymour Hersh, a Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter. Recently, he was in the news for saying that America bombed the Nord Stream gas pipelines. And now he's dropped another bombshell. He says Zelensky and his team have embezzled about $400 million. $400 million. Apparently, this was done last year. Do you remember what else started last year? Zelensky began his sacking spree. He fired many top officials, all for corruption. Now the new report says this was done to placate the US and that American officials knew that Zelensky and team are skimming millions. They wanted the corruption to be more discreet. This is all in Seymour Hersh's report. He says CIA Director William Burns presented a list of 35 names to Zelensky and some of those people were fired. Zelensky was under pressure from the Americans, so he sacked some of his people. Then Hersh goes on to make other claims, like how Zelensky is actually using American funds to buy Russian oil. He apparently skirts sanctions and uses American funds to get the Russian oil. It seems counterintuitive. Why would he do it? So the obvious question is, how much of the report is true and how does Seymour Hersh know all of this? He says that his sources are anonymous US intelligence officials. But we'll never know for sure, I guess. So expect public denials and a veto on the investigations. But the truth may not come out anytime soon. And speaking of doubt in the face of disturbing information, there's a horrific video that has been circulating online. We've decided not to show it, and we urge you, for your own peace of mind, to not watch it. The video shows the beheading of a Ukrainian. It was done with a knife, allegedly by Russian soldiers, and they filmed themselves while doing it. It's disgusting and has rightly led to widespread outrage. Zelensky has compared the Russians to ISIS.
There is something that no one in the world can ignore, how easily these beasts kill. This video of the execution of a Ukrainian prisoner of war, the world must see it. This is a video of Russia as it really is. What kind of creatures are they? There are no people for them. A son, a brother, a husband, someone's child. This is a video of Russia trying to make just that the new norm. Such a habit of destroying life. This is not an incident. This is not an episode. This was the case earlier. This was the case in Bucha. Thousands of times. Everyone must react. Every leader. Don't expect it to be forgotten. That time will pass. We are not going to forget anything. Neither are we going to forgive the murderers.
He seems convinced that the video is authentic. So does the European Union. But it gave a caveat before proceeding to chastise Russia.
We don't have more information on the veracity of the video. Having said that, if confirmed, this is yet another brutal reminder about the inhumane nature of the Russian aggression. Killing of prisoners of war is a very serious breach of the Geneva Convention and demonstrates once more Russia's complete disregard of international law, and particular international humanitarian law.
And what does Russia have to say? These were the exact words of their spokesperson. And I'm quoting, "First of all, we need to check the authenticity of this awful footage. Of course, this footage is awful, and first we should check its authenticity, and then we could have a pretext to check whether or not this is true, whether it happened, and if it did, where and by whom it was done. But first of all, in the world of fakes that we inhabit, we need to check the veracity of this footage." The Kremlin has called the video awful, but it says the first step to do is to check the authenticity, and it sounds fair. But how long will this take? Also, who will verify it? If Russian troops are indeed guilty, who will punish them? Unless horrors like these are dealt with urgently, they will be forgotten and perhaps even repeated. As things stand, this video may just end up as another tool of information warfare, which brings us to Bakhmut. Another game of claims and counterclaims. Russia says it is on the verge of capturing Bakhmut, and like clockwork, Ukraine denies it. The Wagner group of mercenaries is fighting for Russia here. They're the ones leading the offensive. And they say they control 80% of Bakhmut now. To counter this, Ukraine has released videos. They show Ukrainian soldiers in Bakhmut. This battle is the longest and bloodiest part of the war. And it rages on. As for the claims and the stories, well, people will believe what they want to believe. That's the whole point of information warfare. Muddy the waters, blur the lines between truth and lies.